Students, am I audible? Can you see the slide? Kindly reply.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, before going to the next unit, that is the next topic is concerned, that is leader-follow relation, we'll try to do a quick recap of the concepts what we have discussed in the earlier units. Okay. See, what we discussed in unit 1, majorly we try to understand the definition, the importance of leadership, then the roles of a leader. Then we even understood the levels of analysis of leadership theory. Then after that, in unit 2, we majorly understood the personality traits and leadership. Then attitude of a leader, that is leadership attitudes. Then ethical leadership. Then majorly we even understood about achievement motivation theory. Then after that, we came to the next unit, that is unit 3. Majorly we understood here the concepts related to leadership behavior and motivation and even contingency leadership. So majorly what we understood here in the unit 3, students, see the leadership behavior and styles, then the outcome of the research conducted in University of Michigan and Ohio studies, then leadership grid, the concept of leadership grid, and then lot of theories we understood, like related to content and process theories, then reinforcement theory, so contingency leadership theories, as well as the models, and normative leadership theory and leadership substitute theory. See, when you sit for the examination for the study purpose, it so happens that you will be totally confused because a lot of theories are there. So what I suggest you is, whatever materials I have shared with you, start preparing your notes so that there will be no question of confusion. Okay. Then after that, in unit 4, we understood regarding team leadership, the use of teams in organization, then the types of teams, then decision making in teams, then after that, leadership skills for effective team meetings, then virtual and self-managed teams. All of you understood the importance of SMTs now, that is self-managed teams in any organization for that sake. Then finally, we even understood about the changing role of leadership in self-management, self-managed teams. So here, in today's session, so we'll majorly discuss, that is the few concepts of unit 5, which majorly speaks about the relationship between the leader and the follower. So here we will try to understand some of the evolution of dyadic theory, then leader member exchange theory, and the meaning of delegation, coaching, and managing conflict in any organization. Then after that, in the same unit, we will try to understand the charismatic and the transformational leadership, then stewardship and servant leadership, or leadership of culture and diversity, and creating high performance culture and strategic leadership. So first and the foremost thing what we'll try to understand is, we'll try to understand the relationship between the leader as well as the follower. Okay. Now, before going to this particular topic, see, most of the early theory, so what we majorly try to understand here is, so whom do you call as a follower? The followers can be defined by their behavior doing what others want them to do, or according to their rank, and they are actually low in the hierarchy and have less power, authority, and influence than their superiors. And a person who supports and admires a particular person or set of ideas, so whom we normally call a follower, who follows the instructions of the leader. Correct. So before going to the evolution of dyadic theory, we'll try to understand some of the history related to this. Please concentrate. See, most of the theory, early theory and research on leadership has focused on leaders and it has not paid much attention towards followers, right? But however, it is evident that good or effective leadership is in part due to good relationship between the leaders and the followers. So relationship based approaches to leadership theory have been developed over almost, you can say, students past 25 years, and they continue to evolve. And what is very important to understand here is, as you can see the slide here, each unique association between a leader and a follower is called dyad, D-Y-A-D. I'm repeating once again. The unique association that exists between a leader and a follower is called dyad. Okay. So for our purposes, dyadic refers to the individualized relationship between a leader and each follower in a work unit, right? So dyadic theories focus on the development and effects of separate dyadic relationship between the leader and the followers. And what we have to here understand is that dyadic theory is an approach to leadership that attempts to explain why leaders vary their behavior with the different followers, right? So as you can observe, so leaders will not be same with all the followers, right? The behavior changes. So dyadic approach concentrates on the heterogeneity of the dyadic relationship, arguing that a single leader will form different relationships with different followers. See, for instance, if we were to sample the opinions of different followers about one leader, so they would reveal different dyadic relationships, correct? So one group of followers may characterize their relationship with the leader in positive terms, while another group characteristics their relationship with the leader in a negative terms, correct? So you cannot expect all your followers to be having a positive opinion about you. It's not possible in this world. So some negative opinion also will be there. So a central theme in dyadic leadership is the notion of support for self-worth that leaders provide to followers, and the return performance that followers provide to leaders. See, support for self-worth is defined as a leader's support for a follower's actions and ideas. See, you cannot satisfy all your followers, or you cannot be good with all your followers, right? So there will be few positive opinion about you, and there will be few negative opinion about you. So a central theme in dyadic leadership is the notion of support for self-worth that leaders provide to followers, and the return performance that followers provide to leaders. And please understand, students, this is a very important part here. There are 4 stages in the evolution of dyadic approaches or theories. So all of you by this time should be knowing why it is called as dyad, because we understood just now that the unique association between a leader and a follower is called as dyad, that is DYAD, right? So dyadic theory is an approach to leadership that attempts to explain why leaders vary their behavior with different followers. So there are 4 stages in the evolution of dyadic approaches or theories. So stage 1, we majorly try to understand about the vertical dyadic linkage. We call it as VDL theory. We'll try to understand in detail about this VDL theory. Then after that, stage 2 is concerned. We have LMX theory. It's called leader member exchange theory. Students, these are very important thing. They might ask you in the examination, like explain the 4 stages in the evolution of dyadic approaches. Okay. So basically what we are trying to understand here is the leader and the follower association. And stage 3, we will try to understand about team building, And finally, stage 4 is concerned, we will try to understand about the systems and networks. Well, first and the foremost thing, let me take you to the stage 1 and try to understand what is this vertical dyadic linkage theory. It's called VDL theory. See, all of you, vertical dyadic linkage theory, it's also called as VDL theory, wherein individualized leader follow interactions creating in groups and out of the groups. So I'll try to elaborate this, and again I'll explain this flowchart to all of you. Then we have LMX theory, that's called leader member exchange, wherein focus is on the quality of each dyad and its effects on organizational outcomes over time. Say when I say dyad, it is the association between the leader and the follower. Okay. Then we have team building. That means leaders can aspire to build positive relationships with all the followers, not just a few special individuals. See, each stage is concerned. I will elaborate with a lot of examples and I'll try to explain you. But we will try to understand this flowchart even at the end also when I explain all these 4 stages of dyadic approach. And last but not the least stage, it's called systems and networks, wherein creating positive dyadic relationships across traditional boundaries to include a larger network of participants. Well, let me explain you stage 1 in detail now. That's called VDL, that is vertical dyadic linkage theory. Now, students, VDL is the awareness of relationship between a leader and a follower, rather than better a leader and a group of followers. See, what happens here in VDL approach or the theory is the vertical dyad approach is an evolutionary phase from individualized leadership research. See, early research on individualized leadership focused on traditional average leadership style, that we call it as ALS approach, in which what happened was a leader applies the same style of leadership towards a group as a whole. So the perception is that the leader or the superior treats everyone equal or same, correct? Because he treats all the members or all the followers equal. However, others describe another approach whereby the leader treats his or her followers differently, and we call it as vertical dyad linkage approach, VDL approach. So what is this VDL approach? So this is essentially a dyads within dyads, that is view of leadership. So VDL describes a situation whereby a leader forms dyadic in group relationships with some followers and dyadic out group relationships with other followers. Let me elaborate more on this now. See, vertical dyadic linkage theory examines how leaders from one-on-one relationships with the followers and how these often create in groups and out groups within the leader's work unit, right? So a leader provides support for feelings of self-worth to a follower. For example, students, let me take an example for this VDL. A leader may provide closer attention, guidance, feedback and consideration to a follower. Okay, the follower in turn provides exceptional performance to the leader. For example, a follower performing above standards and always willing to go extra mile for the leader. And students, please understand, the studies, a lot of research has been conducted. So the studies have revealed that relationships developed in these dyads may occur at a formal or informal level. Okay, whereby some dyads are linked to assigned work group and others are independent of the formal work group. So you can see the slide here. VDL examines how leaders from one-on-one relationship with the followers and how these often create in groups and out groups within the leader's work unit. So leader provides self-worth to all the followers, that is he provides closer attention, guidance, feedback and even consideration to a follower. So the in-group includes, please understand what is this in-group and out-group here. The in-group includes followers with the strong social ties to their leader in a supportive relationship characterized by high mutual trust, respect, and loyalty and influence. So leader primarily use expert, referent, and reward power to influence members of in the group. So I think you might have observed few leaders will be trusting only few of the followers, right? So they will not trust each and every one. So the out group includes followers with few or no social ties to their leader in a strictly task centered relationship characterized by low exchange and even top down influence. So when we say top down influence, leaders mostly use the reward as well as legitimate and coercive power to influence out group members. And when it comes to decision making also, please try to understand members of the in group are invited to participate in important decision making, and they are given added responsibility, additional responsibility, and have greater access to the leader, right? Because they have gained the confidence and trust of the leader. So members of the out group are managed according to the requirements of the employment contract, and even they receive little inspiration, encouragement, or recognition, right? So in terms of influence and support, in group members experience greater mutual influence and collaborative effort with the leader, while what happens to the out group members, they tend not to experience positive relationship and influence. The in group versus the out group status also reveals an element of reciprocity or exchange in the relationship, right? The leader grants special favors. Please understand this, students. The leader will grant a special grant or favor to in group members in exchange for their what? In exchange for their loyalty, commitment, and even the outstanding performance. So this will create a mutual reinforcement based on common needs and interest. So ultimately, these formations actually create stronger social ties within the groups as well as intergroup biases between the groups. So thus, individuals will be more likely to share with the members of their own group, that is called as in group, than with the members of other group, that's called out group. Okay, so this is about the stage one, that was called as VDL, that is vertical dyadic linkage theory. Now, after understanding the stage one, we will try to understand the stage two, that is leader member exchange theory, that's called LMX theory. See, what happens in case of LMX theory is the next evolutionary stage in the dyadic approach is the leader member exchange theory, that's called as LMX theory. So leader member interaction plays a very critical role in organizational life, but unfortunately, students, such exchanges can also be a leading cause of employee distress too. So the underlying assumption of LMX theory is that leaders or superiors, they have limited amounts of social, personal, and even organizational resources, which includes energy, time, attention, and discretion, and as a result tend to distribute them among the followers selectively, correct? So therefore, leader member exchange is defined as, please understand this, it is LMX is defined as the quality of the exchange relationship between an employee and his or her superior to whom they are actually reporting. So it is evident that the quality of LMX relationship is a determinant of how each follower will be treated. So high quality exchange relationship reveal a high degree of mutual positive affect, loyalty, respect, and even the trust. So whereas low quality exchange relationship reveal the opposite, correct? So therefore, LMX theory and research offers an alternative way of examining organizational leadership, and even arguing that the quality of a leader-follower dyadic relationship would be more, predictive of positive follower and organizational outcomes than traits or behaviors of superiors. So it is evident that the quality of LMX is pivotal in influencing employees' work-related cognitive, affective, and even behavioral experiences and roles and fate in their organization. So, in conclusion, what we can say here, leader-member exchange is defined as the quality of exchange relationship between an employee and his or her superior, and it is a vice versa. And when it comes to stage 3, that's called as team building. So everybody know the meaning of building the team, right? Building the effective team, and it takes a lot of effort to build an effective team. So given the increasingly complex and uncertain environment in which organizations find themselves, many have responded by adopting teams as their fundamental unit of organizational structure in an effort to decentralize the decision making and respond more effectively to external opportunities and threats. See, when we speak about team building, studies have shown students that when leaders are trained to develop and nurture high quality relationships with all their followers, the results on follower performance are dramatic, and you can see fantastic results. So followers who feel they have developed a positive one-on-one relationship within the leader or with the leader tend to exhibit higher productivity and the performance gains, right? So basically what a good leader will do, he will actually build a team of what? Team of effective people or effective followers. So as these relationships mature, the entire work group becomes more cohesive, and even the payoffs are evident to all the participants. And in some sense, partnership building enables a leader to meet both the personal and the work related needs of each group member one at a time, right? So leader member exchange relationships can result in a greater teamwork because employees pursue cooperation with other team members as a way to reciprocate to the leader who desires such behavior. And what is this stage 4? We call it as systems and networks. So when I say systems and networks, see, across all the sectors of our economy, there is a noticeable trend of organizations seeking and getting involved in a variety of collaborative arrangements. It can include, partnerships, alliance, and even the networks. So why this network is required? For the purpose of entering into new markets or gaining innovations or new products. So from this perspective, students, the dyadic theory maintains that LMX does not exist in isolation. See, by collaborating, organizations hope exchange strengths. Correct? That is the advantage. If you are collaborating with a lot of organizations, you can exchange the strength, which can include skills, capabilities, knowledge, and even resources with others, and even which allow all partners to develop timely, innovative, synergetic solutions to complex problems they could not address on their own. And nowadays, if you see, students, organizations are structured along the functional, divisional, and product, customer, and geographic lines. So leaders must create processes and networks that bring all the workers across all the functional lines together to talk to one another, listen to one another's stories, and reflect together. So what happens here in case of systems and networks? Everyone can share their skills, share their knowledge, and share the opportunities over there. So developing relationships of trust where people from various backgrounds, disciplines, and hierarchies, they talk to one another. That is called as networking, right? So would no doubt avoid the polarization that dominates organizations that are characterized by groups and out the groups. And as you can see here, the systems and the networks, they view content that leader relationships are not limited to followers, but even it includes peers, customers, suppliers, and other relevant stakeholders in the collective collectives of work groups, and even organization wide networks. So these are some of the 4 stages which we discussed. Next, we'll try to understand the leader member exchange theory. It's called LME. The leadership is a relationship that is jointly produced by leaders and followers, right? So if a leader is there, so obviously why he has become a leader? First thing what we have to understand, either because of his knowledge, or because of the skill what he has got, or because of all the leadership skills which he has got, right? So he is called as a leader, and definitely the followers will be there for him, right? See, there is no doubt that the relationship between the leader and the follower are critical to organizational success. See, LMX, that is LMX theory what we discussed, has enhanced our understanding of the interaction process between the leader as well as the followers. So the quality of LMX affects employees' work ethic, productivity, satisfaction, and even the perceptions. So for a better appreciation of the concept, we'll try to understand the influence of LMX. So the influence of this LMX quality on followers, the ways in which the leader member relationships develop, then measurement of LMX variables, behavioral elements that influence the limitation of leader member relationships, also referred to as antecedents of LMX relationships and bias in LMX relationships. So the influence of LMX on followers behavior. So see, those who hold the view that building positive relationship is a key ingredient for leadership development have majorly focused on leader member exchange, LME, right, as the basis for understanding leadership development and its role in creating social capital for organizations. So leader member exchange theory supporters argue that similarities between a leader and a follower exert a positive influence on the relationship and on outcome variables. So as we already know, in-group followers routinely receive higher performance ratings than out-group followers. Why? Because they're very sincere, they're very loyal to the subordinates or the superiors, whereas out-group followers routinely show higher levels of turnover than in-group followers. And finally, when asked to evaluate the organizational climate, in-group followers give more positive ratings than the out-group followers. Why? Because the followers with the strong social ties to the leader are said to be long to in the group, while those with the weak social ties to the leader. See, when I say social tie to the leader, that means the connectivity or the association with the leader when I am speaking, okay? So weak social ties means what? A weak association with the leader are said to belong to the out group. See, being a member of the in-group puts you in a favorable position. For example, in-group followers routinely receives higher performance ratings than out-group followers. So out-group followers routinely show higher level of turnover than in-group followers. And finally, when asked to evaluate the organizational climate, in-group followers give more positive ratings than the out-group followers. So overall, students, what we can understand is, a lot of studies also have been conducted related to the same. So studies have found that the quality of the LMX relationship for in-group members is substantially superior when compared to the out-group members. And the benefits of the in-group members to a leader are actually clearly evident. So when a leader has tasks that require considerable initiative and effort on the part of the group members to be carried out successfully, the assistance and commitment of followers in the in-group becomes an invaluable asset to the leader. So these are some of the influence of LMX on follower behavior. Next, we'll try to understand the strategies for developing the positive leader member relations. So what are the various strategies? The first thing is the development of relationships in a leader-member dyad, which was again described as a life cycle model with the 3 possible stages. See, in the first stage, students, you can see the slide here. In the first stage, the leader and the follower conduct themselves as strangers, testing each other to identify what kinds of behavior are acceptable. Right? So each relationship is negotiated informally between each follower and the leader. Let me elaborate on this stage 1 now. See, the definition of each group member's role determines what the leader expects the member to do. So your impressions management by the follower would play a critical role in influencing how the leader perceives him or her. Correct? So what is this impressions management? Impressions management is a follower's effort to project a favorable image. I'm repeating once again, impression. See, what is impression? The meaning of impression? Someone is trying to impress you. There might be some hidden agenda behind that, right? So what is this impressions management? It is a follower's effort to project a favorable image in order to gain an immediate benefit or improve a long-term relationship with the leader, right? So impressions management is most critical during the early stages, that is stage 1 and stage 2. As we say, there's a proverb which says that the first impression is the best impression what you can give, right? So impressions management is most critical during the early stages, which is stage 1 and stage 2 of the life cycle model, right? So it is a valuable tool that is used well, which can enhance the visibility of the follower's strength and even the performance. And students, please understand this. There are a lot of studies which have shown that impressions management tactics such as ingratiation can influence the leader in a very, very positive way. Now, what is this ingratiation? Ingratiation is the effort, to appear supportive, appreciative, and respectful. So, ingratiatory influence tactics include favor rendering, self promotion, and behavioral conformity. Correct? So, what is this self promotion, students? Self promotion is the effort to appear competent and dependable. Right? So, that is in stage 1, and stage 2 is concerned as the leader and follower become acquainted. What happens? They engage in further refining the roles which they play together, and mutual trust, loyalty, and even respect they begin to develop between the leader and the follower. So during this stage, the perceived fairness of leader is very, very crucial. And the last stage, so what we are studying now, we are trying to understand the 3-stage process for developing positive LMX relation. So stage 3 is concerned, some exchange relationship advance to a 3rd stage as the role reach maturity phase. And here the exchange based on self-interest is transformed into the mutual commitment to the mission and objectives of the work unit. So let me elaborate on this. The exchange based on self-interest is transformed into mutual commitment to the mission and objectives of the work unit. So what do you mean by that? See, it would appear from examining these 3 stages that the end result of the life cycle model of LMX relationships is the creation of actual and perceived differences between the in-group. So when I say in-group means what? High quality LMX and out-group, that is low quality LMX members. Right? So for example, from a communications perspective, a study concluded that coordinates in low quality LMX are likely to experience less communication satisfaction with the superiors than employees involved in high quality LMX. So the LMX may feel that they are being unfairly treated and thus resent those in high quality. So hostility between the 2 groups is likely to undermine the necessary cooperation and teamwork for the work unit as a whole. So before going to the factors that determine the LMX quality, we'll try to understand some of the limitation of LMX application. And this part is concerned, that is factors that determine LMX quality, I'll continue in the next class. So before going to the factors, let me explain you some of the major limitation of LMX application. See, so one of the major limitation of LMX is the measurement difficulty. See, what is this measurement difficulty? LMX theory deals with the attitudes and the perceptions of the individuals, right? So, two issues that are often difficult to quantify and measure, which are the attitudes and perception. So, for this reason, one of the recent research efforts on LMX have focused on instrumentation of the theory, right? So the way in which the attributes of high quality LMX relationships have been defined and measured have varied somewhat from study to study. And students, please understand this. In studies using this scale, the quality of relationships is usually assumed to involve attributes such as, mutual trust between whom? Between the leader and the follower. And respect should be there, affection and loyalty should be there, right? So characteristics of LMX deemed positive to the exchange relationship, which may vary among the leaders as well as from the followers, depending on the key influencing factors. And despite the recent research support for the LMX theory, it is evident from the about what all I have discussed. There is a lot of research that has to be continued next, that is LMX is concerned. So in the next class, I'll be taking you to the factors that determine the LMX quality, which includes follower attributes, leader follower perceptions of each other, and the situation factors. See, as I mentioned to you students, it's a very, very vast topic. So you should be understanding each concepts in detail. So whenever I finish the classes or the session, the materials have been already shared with you. So try to read one so that you can correlate with the concepts whatever I have discussed, so that at the end you should not be in a confusion. Okay. So once again, thank you so much for your patience listening. I will end the session here, students.